What's going on, everybody? We are in downtown Birmingham. We're a city walk right here. Uptown is right there. Top Golf's right over there. And I am with Emmett Davis.
Yes.
Guys, first of all, I've known you since, I think, 2017, 18. So going on 9 years. Yeah. Something like that. And I first met Emmett when he was trying to kind of get going in real estate.
Correct.
And since then, he's done a lot of different things. I know you've done tax properties. I know you've done some wholesaling. You've probably done some other stuff. I'm going to ask you about that here in a second.
Okay.
But what I'm really interested to talk to Emmett about is something, if you follow him at all, you know, he has been traveling, but I guess you sent me this text yesterday or a couple of days ago. I thought you were traveling. You said you're going to go back home to Thailand.
Correct.
So you have made a home in Thailand. You're from Birmingham.
Correct.
And it's all through the power of real estate.
That's 100% correct.
So tell us, take us all the way back to the very beginning when I first met you, when you were just trying to find your way.
Okay.
And take us all the way to today. How'd you get to today?
Is this an hour interview?
That's a long story.
Is this an hour interview?
Let me shorten down the question. Let me shorten down the question. How'd you get started?
Okay. So I had a mentor who I did bail bonding with. I had a furniture company, and I was also working for the city of Birmingham, for the city council. And so the city council member was also my friend and mentor. And everything he saw me do, he said, man, I have never seen you do anything and it not be blessed. Like everything that you put your hands to, I see it grow exponentially. Like from bail bonding, you become the best agent. At your furniture company, you end up having 4 locations. Everything I'm seeing you do, you come to the city and everybody love you, every department. They said everything that we were missing in our neighborhoods for the last 4 years got done in 2 weeks since Emmett's been here.
How old were you at this time?
At that time, I was 30.
Okay.
I was about 31.
Okay.
So he said, man, can we have a sit down at the Waffle House? I said, yeah. So we go to sit down, we meet at the Waffle House, and he says, listen, everything I seen you touch is blessed. He was like, but I want to ask you a question. If you could do anything in the world, what would it be? I say, anything? I do real estate. I only watch one channel, HGTV. He said, and why aren't you doing it? I said, well, because I don't have the money. I guess I waited until I'm close to 40. I would save enough money to do a flip. Because fix and flip was the biggest thing on that. So he said, no, the reason you're not doing it is because you don't have the information.
Interesting.
The reason you're not doing it is because you're not talking to people that do it. He said, when the last time you've been on a meetup? I just looked at him. He said, you don't even know what I'm talking about, do you? I said, no. He's 60 years old. He's like, wait a minute, you this young and you don't know what meetup is? I was like, no. He said, download the app now. I download the app. And he's like, look at all these free classes in Birmingham and you go to none. But you say you want to do real estate. So he was like, oh, there's one right now. He said, this one is tonight. You know what? I'm a member of this one. Let's go.
Who was it?
It was the Jack Ayers. Jack.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
So I was talking about their mentor. Who was the mentor?
Oh, John Hilliard, city councilman.
Oh, yeah.
You used to see me with him sometimes.
Yeah.
Because I bring him with me. So we go to that meeting and I see this guy. What was his name? Come on, I know it. The taxidermist in Fairfield. Oh man, he passed away.
Yeah, you're talking about.
His name is right here. I know it.
I'm gonna have to cut this out so it doesn't sound like I'm not trying to think about it.
I just said his name.
His son's name's Bubba.
Archie Phillips.
Archie Phillips.
Okay.
Bubba Phillips.
So I go and see this guy, and his name is Archie Phillips.
He's a legend.
Amazing. He asked the question, how many people in here flip houses in Hoover? All these hands go up. How many of you will buy houses in Gardale? All these hands go up. He said, you can keep buying these houses all you want. I'm going to keep buying them in the middle of the hood.
Wylam. That was his area.
He said, I buy houses only for $8,000. I never spent over $8,000 for a house, and I have 100. My son has 60. My granddaughter has 8. He said, and even if I only made $400 a month, Brian, he said, I'm still making $500,000 a year. So it lit up for me because I'm in the city council. That's my district. I know that's a war zone. And Wallam, Fairfield, Inslee, this is a war zone. And he's flipping houses in a wheelchair with one leg. So I said, you know what? I can do this.
So what year was this? Do you remember?
The year I met you. Because
so like 17 or 18?
Right. This was like what is it? So if it's 25 now, it's probably like 17. It definitely was 17. Okay, so 17, 18. So I leave that meeting and I was so inspired. I was like, no, I can do this. I don't have to wait. If he can do it in these areas, I don't even want to drive through. And this is my district to take care of, fixing potholes and all it. I said, no, I can do this. And so I go and I'm driving home. I'm like, but how can I do it? I don't have any money. How can I do it right now? And Brian, man, life is so amazing and so set up strategic for us. We don't know the blessings we have and how it's going to set us up for the future. So I used to buy a tax book every single year for 6 years straight.
Yep.
And I know this book backwards. You can't pick an area. You say a street, I can go through the book and I can find you all the center point and 4 different areas in that book and give you all the center point. All of Eastlake. I can do it just by areas. And so I'm riding home. I was like, you know what? I can buy a tax property. That's how I could get started. So I knew how to break the book down.
How did you already know all that stuff?
No, I used to just go and buy the book. Just buy the book.
So I used to get the CD, the Excel
it was too hard.
CD.
It was too hard to learn.
So you got the book.
Yep.
But this is before you got into real estate.
Correct.
Why were you getting the book?
Because I was hoping to do it someday in the future.
Okay.
I was just hoping to do it.
All right.
But I knew how to do it because I get the book and I separate them and I color code them. I drive around. I was driving for dollars and didn't know what I was doing. I was just driving, looking at the houses, and I'm saying, "Oh, baby, look at this house in Mount Brook. This is $20,000 in back taxes. We can own this mansion for $20,000." So I used to just do it and be inspired, but I wouldn't pull the trigger. And it took someone to tell me, "You just don't have the information." And so once I got that, I'm driving home. I figured, you know what? I can do tax properties. So the next morning, I got up. I went through my book and I found everything that was under 2,000. And I just applied for everything that was under 2,000.
Through the state?
Through the state. I didn't know. It usually takes months before you get it. It came in 2 days. I got quotes. And it scared me because I have no money. I was like, they don't even give quotes this fast. But no one applied for the property. So it was a condo, a 3-bedroom, 2-bath condo in Center Point. Okay, am I taking?
Nope, you're good.
Okay, so it was a 3-bedroom, 2-bath condo in Center Point, and it was only $294, Brian.
For 1 year back taxes?
No, this was 2-year back tax, 3-year back taxes. Because condos, they don't charge you for land. They only charge you for the build-up.
Right.
So that's the difference between buying a house on land, they charge you for land and the improvement. Right. So they can only charge you for the improvement.
Gotcha.
All right, so buying condos is much cheaper if you were to do tax properties. So I got this condo. It's only $294, Brian, but I don't have the money. You got 20 days to buy it, but I don't have the money.
You don't have $294?
I do not have $294.
All right.
All I have is $600 to pay my rent.
And you got opportunity in front of you.
And I got the opportunity.
Okay.
So what should I do? I decide, you know what? If I get put out of my rental out of this house, I can always go to my tax property. So I went on and paid for it. So I was not going to be able to pay my rent. I paid for this tax property. I went down to the, the money order place, got a cashier's check, sent it off with the paperwork. I was so glad I did it. I'm at the post office and I get a call and they say, "Hey, are you downtown? We got a bond for $10,000. That means you get $2,500. Do you want it?" I said, "Yes."
Because you were working for a bail bondsman.
Correct.
I don't even know how any of that works.
Yeah. So every person we get out of jail, they had to pay down whatever the percentage is.
Okay, gotcha.
So they needed to come up with $10,000. They had the money. And I negotiated that I get 25% of everything I bring in.
Yeah.
So here I am for to get 2,500 after I just spent, like immediately when it happened. That's how God works. So immediately when it happened, I get the call. I come, I do the bond at the courthouse. I get another quote, and it's for $1,200. So I say, should I buy this other quote or should I just pay my bills? And I was like, you know what? I stepped out on faith on that one. You know what? I'm gonna do it again. I went back to the same place, got a money order, went back to the post office, sent it off. Now I think I'm down to like $700. I'm at $700, but I'm glad because I applied for 2 properties. But once I pay my rent, I'm just gonna have $100 left. Soon as I put it in the post office, the guy called me again and said, hey, are you still downtown? We got another client that has $10,000. I said, yes, I'm just around the corner. I'm at the main post office. And I came back and got another $2,500. So it took me believing and stepping out on faith for it to work for me. So time go by, I have these 2 properties. Then I realized the city was selling, what were they called? The city properties. When they were back taxed so bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Land bank. So I worked at the city. I go down there and ask them how the land bank worked and realized all I had to do was put $500 down on a house in Eastlake. So I bought a Centerpoint condo. I bought an Eastlake house for $12, and then I put the $500 down for another house in North Eastlake. So I had one south, one north, and Centerpoint.
These are all tax properties.
These are all tax.
So you're paying the taxes.
Yep.
But you can't necessarily take possession of the property.
At that time I could. There's new laws now that you cannot.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah,
okay.
So at that time, if the house was considered abandoned, you can take possession. And taking possession is you doing the things for upkeep. It shows that you are in possession of it.
Interesting.
So I would find properties where the doors were kicked in, the windows are bust, a hole in the roof, a tree. If I see things like that, those are the ones I want.
So how are you making money with those? How were you making money with those?
I was not. I had a brother-in-law, when he found out I was doing it, he said, man, that's exactly what I do. He said, but I rent out all mine. Well, I don't have the money to fix these things up to rent them out.
And it's risky to do that anyway, because they could come and redeem it.
Right, but they'll have to pay you the preservation improvements.
Correct.
So I understood the laws. And what I did was...
But not everything you fix up is, could you get back?
Yes.
Not everything.
Yes, everything. So the law, so let me make sure I give you all of it.
Okay, give me all of it.
Okay, so you understand. So here it goes. I had these 3 properties for 6 months. I did nothing to them. I couldn't do anything to them. I'm struggling going check to check. But I got the properties. Everybody patted me on the back, but I'm broke.
Right.
I got 3 properties. I cannot do anything with them. And it's about to be tax season again. I'm about to lose them to other people. They pay the back taxes and they take them from me. So I can't pay the taxes on them to catch them up. I decided, what in the world can I do? Because I'm going to lose this and I'm going to lose the money I put in it. I said, man, I got to go to I got to get help, some type of real estate, something. And immediately Facebook heard me and it popped up, Brian's Trip 3-day weekend course. You remember that course? Of course. Okay. So I see that and I'm like, oh my God, they got a weekend course to help you with real estate. I was like, maybe they can tell me something I can do to help me so I don't lose.
I don't think I helped you.
He don't know he did.
I don't think I helped him with tax properties. All right, good, sorry.
Okay, so I said, I need help and I need to figure out what to do. And you had a 3-day course where you talking about 2 things a day. You're talking about wholesaling and burr. And then this one is talking about this and that. So I was like, okay, they got a lot of things they're going to talk about. It's definitely going to be able to help me. All right, so in that time, Brian, I decide, you know what? What I really want to learn is this wholesaling thing, and maybe they can help me with wholesaling. So I went and started looking at all your posts on Facebook, and I seen a guy. I cannot remember his name. It's forsaking me right now. But the guy, oh man, great guy.
Wholesale guy?
Wholesale guy, but he gave us all the scripts we need.
Probably TTP.
No.
Brent Daniels?
No, not
Tom
Brent.
Kroll?
No.
Cody Hoffman?
No, Cody.
All those guys helped me a bunch.
No. Oh my God. Because he said, all you do is just send me a text and I'll give you everything I got. But whatever it was, I did the text and it sent me to YouTube. And he did wholesaling for like 12 different sections of how to wholesale from A to Z. Right? So it was, to watch it was like 13 hours. I put my kids out the room. I wouldn't let my wife talk to me. I'm locking myself in this room. I got a brand new notebook and I'm gonna do everything this man say for 13 hours straight. No phones, no distractions.
That sounds like it would be somebody like Pace Morby.
Pace. No, not Pace. No, it wasn't Pace. Oh my gosh, come on.
Pace did those marathon
It was not,
YouTube things.
but it wasn't all together. It was different.
Oh, it was just different videos.
I'm sorry, hold on. My metal glasses are talking. But, I cannot get it.
That's all right. That's all right.
Oh, it just came to me. But whatever his name is, I can't get it. If it comes back, I'll bring it up. So I listened to him tell about wholesaling for 13 hours straight, Brian. And out of that, by the time I finished, I printed out all the contracts, the A to B. I did all the stuff he said. And I was like, you know what? I think I can do this. I figured out now how I can not lose these properties. So I was like, wholesaling is selling something that you just have an interest in, right? So this is how I was understanding. It's something I have an interest in that I'm assigning my interest to someone else.
Right. You don't own it, but you control it.
I control it.
Yeah.
So while I'm listening to everything he said about wholesaling, I'm saying, well, I control the tax property. I don't own it, but I control the interest. I wonder, can I assign my interest
In the tax properties.
in the tax properties? So your class is on Friday. I don't have the money to pay you to come to the class. It's $300 and some dollars at the time.
I think it's $297.
I don't have $297. I don't have $297. My job is paying little to nothing.
So this would have been, I think I met you, did you go to the one at the Elixon Hotel?
Yep.
So that would have been like
Elixon
March
Hotel.
of 18.
Okay, so 18. So 17 is when I bought the property. That's when I met you all, because once I went to that real estate class, I signed up for every meetup and I went to every one of those classes. I just was an information hog, but I was listening and I was doing.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of people that come to listen and not do. And they'll be in there for years. But I'm a doer. So I'm not there to waste my time.
Yeah.
So I'm going to every class, everything like that. I see your course. It's at the Illington Hotel. I find a way to come up with the $300. I don't know why this always happened to me, but it's $300. I pay the $300 and I get his course. Oh, it came to me again. I get his course. I learn it, I understand it, and I see how I can apply it to what I do with tax properties. So your course is on Friday. I learn this on Wednesday. I go to the courthouse on Thursday and say, hey, I have a brother. I want to give him my interest in the property.
Who are you saying this to?
To the courthouse, to the county courthouse.
Like to the clerk?
To the clerk. To the assessors. To the collectors.
Tax collectors.
Tax collectors. I go there and I tell them what I'm trying to do. I say, hey, listen, I have a brother. I want to give him my interest in my tax property. What do y'all call that? She said, oh, that's an assignment. She was like, I have an assignment form. I said, can you please give me an assignment form? She gives it to me, and it's the same terminology as wholesaling with assignment. So I understood what she gave me. She gives me the form, and I was like, okay, I'm going to keep this one. She said, okay. I take it home. I make a bunch of copies. So now I have an assignment that I can assign my tax property. So this is Thursday. I come to your class on Friday. Thursday night, I go on Facebook and say, hey, I have this property that I'm looking to assign. It's a tax property, and I'm selling it for $8,000.
And you're only in it for
I bought it for 12.
Yeah.
I bought it for 12. Yeah, 1,200, and I'm selling it for 8,000. It's Southeast Lake. Okay, so I'm selling in Southeast Lake before Southeast Lake was booming. I go to your class that Friday. I show up early. I speak to everybody, speak to you. I'm sitting down in the class, and while we're getting through the first session, I get a message saying, hey, I'm at the county courthouse now with $8,000. Can you be here right now? I say, yes, I'm on my way. I'm downtown. We're at the Islington on 1st Avenue. I pack up my stuff. I'm in a 3-piece suit. I run from the Islington, because it's too far to get my car. I run from the Islington to the Jefferson County Courthouse with the paperwork. I do the assignment. I meet him in the bathroom. He gives me the $8,000. I count it out. I put the money in my pocket, and I run back to the Islington Hotel. Cash. I got $8,000 cash in my pocket, and I run back to the Islington Hotel. I get there, and you guys are about to go on break because it just turned 12, and y'all about to let out, and you just finished the wholesaling part. So I come up to you, and I say, Brian, are you going to continue talking about wholesaling? You was like, no, we're done with that. We're going into this next. And I was like, but that's the whole reason I came.
And you missed
And
it.
I was like, yeah, you was like, well, then why did you leave? I said, because I just did a wholesale deal. You was like, wait a minute, Emmett, are you telling me you did a wholesale deal while you in the class learning it? And I'm like, yeah. He was like, do you mind if I record that?
I don't remember. I don't even remember.
Oh, man. It's in your recording. You was like, do you mind if I record you saying that?
Wow.
You was like, stand by the sign and tell your story again.
Wow.
And so I said how I did my first wholesale deal. And
I don't remember that at all.
I was wholesaling a tax property. So that happened. You interact with so many people. But so that happened. And then now I'm $8,000 ahead. I went from nothing to $8 ahead, $8,000 ahead. So I feel great. $8,000, I've never held that much, and it was all mine, and I didn't have to give it to somebody else. And next thing I know, we're in the class, we get to day 3, which is Sunday. And you was like, guys, you guys need to find your niche. Don't try to do everything. Find your niche. Like Emmett. Emmett does tax properties. And he found his niche and he stick with it. Emmett, you want to tell your story? So I was like, yeah. I stand up. I tell the story about how don't let nobody turn you away, and that you can do anything you want as long as you're persistent and you try. And next thing I know, there's tears in the cry. Everybody feeling emotional about it. I'm about to cry because I couldn't believe it worked for me. And so you was like, Emmett, you ought to be a motivational speaker. And then we ended. And next thing I know, everybody's lining up to come talk to the man that do tax property. You was like, I don't know anything about it. You have to talk to a professional because I don't do tax properties. And then they would come line up to speak to me about tax properties. And then.
So you notice real quick, I only asked you one question.
I know. That's why I asked you, did you have an hour? The fast forward. So I got tax properties. And now that I know it worked, I'm selling tax properties. So I'll buy it for $300, sell it for $3,000. I buy it for $700, depending on the location. I sell it for $7,000.
So Emmett, where are you today? Like with what's your business look like today?
Today,
because it's obvious it has to be remote. Because you apparently don't live in Birmingham anymore. It's not your residence anymore.
Correct.
So tell me about your real estate business today.
Okay.
What does it look like?
Okay, so to catch up on that, I had a desire. I went through one of the hardest times in my life. I was a little depressed, and then I started traveling. And I started going to counseling, and she said, like, Emmett, out of everything you do, the only time you find happiness is when you travel. So I recommend that you do that more. So I started taking cruise ships because it's cheap. I can go to different countries and different places, and my mind can just kind of relax, and I can be okay with the situation that I had. And it got to a point where I decided I no longer want to be in Birmingham. I feel like I'm bigger than this. And only things keeping me here was my family. But I'm not a tree. I'm not rooted in one place. I could be plucked up and I could go somewhere else and thrive just as well.
Like when you say your family, like who are you talking about?
It was just my kids.
How old are
and
your
my
kids?
ex-wife. So I have a 19-year-old, a 12-year-old, just turned 6 this week, 6-year-old, and a 3-year-old.
Okay.
So I was here for the sake of my family. But once that thing was dismantled, now I don't have a family. I just have kids and an ex-wife. So you can interpret how you want, but that's how I got it. So I no longer have full possession of them. I was with them for 365 days. Now I see them every other weekend. So I just have kids now. It is no longer a family unit for me. So once all this stuff was processing for me, I decided, you know what, I'm not a tree, I'm not rooted, I can move how I see fit. And so I started Googling currency rates. And I have 4 places on my list: Dominican Republic, Colombia, Thailand, Philippines. Those were the 4 places I had because that was the 4 places people were saying don't go. And I don't listen to where people tell me not to do. That encouraged me more to look into it. And I found out these places are beautiful and you're trying to keep me away from something. So I made up my mind that I was going. But I figured out the formula that it takes that I could be successful in those places. So the number that I needed was $30,000.
A year.
$30,000, period. In any one of those countries, I'm considered a millionaire in every one of those countries with $30,000. Okay? So I decided, well, let me see what life is like to be a millionaire just for 1 year. So I have rental properties. I have a little building in Forestdale, some rental properties. So what I decided is to turn one of my rental properties and sell it. I end up selling it to the tenant that was in the property. So I bought the house for $115, sold it to him for $145. I took the $30,000, went to Thailand, and became an instant millionaire in Thailand. So I used my real estate knowledge to do what I wanted to do.
When did you leave for Thailand the first time?
I went for my birthday in January of this year.
January 2025.
Yeah, so it's June.
And you were gone until June.
Yeah, I was gone to the last week of May, which is my daughter's birthday. So I came back for her birthday. We had a family reunion, and so no one knew I was coming back in town. I just showed up, surprised my family, surprised my daughter, and kind of spent this week with them. But Sunday, I'm going back to Thailand.
For how long?
I'm doing a year journey. So my goal is till January. So, but in the meantime, I got my rental properties. I can still do assignments and, JV, and partner with other people. So, yeah, it works.
So, your story resonates with me a little bit in the sense that, I went through a traumatic experience too. I got divorced, and to me, like, leaving my kids is a non-negotiable for me. There's nothing else that would keep me here, but like leaving my kids is just, there's no way I could ever do that. How do I justify it in my mind and be okay I'm
with
not asking the question, how do you justify it, but how do you process that?
Yeah, so the way I justify it, I'm just kidding, but the way I process it is my kids they're amazing. Their mom is amazing. I have nothing negative to say about their mom. She does a good job. Yes, they need me, but I stay in communication with my kids every single day. I don't miss a day talking to my kids, finding out where they are, communicate with them, I buy them whatever they need. Everything about my kids, I'm still present, even though they don't have my presence. And I decided that, man, I just got to go out, be Superman, and then I could come back and tell them the stories that I had and the journey I had. I hope that I inspire them to go and do your dream, that you don't let anything stop you from pursuing what you want to do. Because I can let those things stop me, but I'd be unhappy doing what I supposed to do, because this is what people expect of me versus what I desire to do. So me going a year doesn't make me less of a father. I'm still the dad. They still happy to see me. They love me. And I don't worry about the perception of other people about what I'm doing with the kids.